supplemental application. So if you go to our website, you go to future students and then apply, you'll see a link to the supplemental application. Actually, so I think it's this workshop, the VMCAS application and the supplemental application. We tried to keep everything contained there for you. So you're applying for the class of 2024, if you can believe it. So entering in the fall of 2020, that's, if you're applying this year, that's who we are. So you're going to go in, you're going to either log in or create an account. So you'll see these terms of use. That is essentially when you hit agree to that, that is essentially saying that you understand how we're going to communicate with you, how your status will be presented and all of that kind of stuff. So it's not just like legal jargon. It's, you want to read those.
Yeah, please read them.
We even said, please read. It's not just legal text. So please read through those. And then you can also find those as a link because this is kind of on your creating a username and password page. There's a link to those too if you forget, or if you want to go back and read them. So once you create that supplemental application, then you're essentially in our system and you're going to have access to this the status page essentially. This is where we're going to put up their, admitted or on the wait list, or, VMCAS submit, or, complete, or application complete, or things like that. So when you, so you'll be able to also, submit that supplemental application that way too, or edit it. Oh, not a break yet. I thought I had another arrow. So then you're also going to see the admissions staff messages. So the admissions staff messages is where Kathy and her team will communicate with you. So there's 3 people in her office that are going to, and I know I'm talking for you, but I am. So there are 3 people in her office that are going to work really closely with your application. If one of them is, out at a conference or sick or whatever, another one will pick up the slack. So on your message board, you'll have a trail of essentially all of the communication that you've had, versus you emailing Kathy and Kathy's like, well, been out, out at a conference for the last week. So Mercedes, can you handle this? But then Mercedes only knows half of, kind of the conversation. So everybody's going to kind of get context. It will also give you a record of, hey, I asked this question on Tuesday of last week, and Kathy said, yes, my, strange chemistry class will work for this prerequisite or whatever it is. And then somebody else will be able to, say, oh yes, I do see that, so it keeps everything pretty clear and together for both you guys and our staff.
Right. I just want to say that this is something VMCAS has not been able to do. And if we email out from VMCAS, as most colleges do, you'll respond. It'll come back into my email. We get basically hundreds of emails each day. Some are junk, but we get a lot of them. This just makes sure that we have a listing of everything we've talked to you about concerning your application. And then again, as she said, if anybody can take over, you have something in writing, we have something in writing. We're not perfect. So occasionally mistakes happen, or maybe you asked, and I said, okay, back at the first start of the application cycle, say in May. But when I actually by the time everything comes through and we're actually reviewing your application, I think, this doesn't work because I don't remember our previous conversation. There it is for me to see what we had already discussed. So it is important to use the message board for both of us, actually.
Mm-hmm. Any questions? Yes. Yes. Thank you for catching that.
Thank you for catching it. It's one of the dates we didn't catch. No, that's fine. Yes, if something looks strange to you, please let us know. Because as I said, we aren't perfect and sometimes things get missed. So please do not ever hesitate to contact us about something you're unsure of.
Mhm. Okay. Um, so can we do just a few general questions about the application kind of process, and then we'll take break, and then we'll go into more of the admissions like details, how we look at what kind of experience you have and letters of recommendation and all of that kind of stuff. Um, One, did we talk a little bit about with classes that you withdraw from? So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, we had a question on this. Classes you withdraw from, as far as we're concerned, don't exist. We do not count withdrawals. We do not look at what type of course it is. If you withdrew from the course, that just means, as far as we're concerned, that you were never in it.
Uh, okay. And oh, where was my other question? Oh, studying abroad. Can you talk about studying abroad and how that works with maybe even entering it in as experience and or transcripts?
Okay, study abroad is actually mostly used in the area of personal development, and we'll talk more about that later. Um, so you do need to include it as if it was a course, it can be included on your transcripts, just as it stands. But I would also include it in some of your essays. Um, as part of your experience because it is something that the committee needs to know about. We'll get into that. I just
Okay.
talk
Yep.
about that later when we get
That's
into some of the
perfect.
other stuff.
Okay. Any other questions about nitty gritty FIMCAS stuff? Yes.
There was another there's an ongoing side program to like the Iowa State University and that's under question. To file for stuff. So I mean,
Now that was changed. I know that.
Okay.
No, wait. Is it? Yeah, because this is
Should be
19 we're down. It should be
1920.
1920.
Okay. Yes. So it's a date that didn't get rolled over. So yes. So do you plan on filing FAFSA? That question on the program details. It says 1819. Please answer it as if you were saying 1920. Thank you. Yeah. So FAFSA, do you want to file it as a dependent or an independent?
Well, it needs to be filed. However, if your parents claim you on their taxes, you cannot be independent. However, when you get here, all vet students are considered independent. It probably will make a difference on your whatever aid you may get for scholarships and
Yeah.
everything, because that FAFSA comes in, we look at it, it tells us how much need you have. And so it does make a difference, but that's between you and your parents. If they want to carry you for that, for whatever last year, they've changed, since they changed it, I'm confused because it's almost like 2 years behind or something. But so that's, if you're claimed as a dependent, then you can't be independent. Once you're in vet school, you are considered independent.